What's going on, everybody? Good evening. It's week 15 in a league where they play for pay. It's week 15. We are in December and we are coming up on Christmas season. We're in the final stretch. These games will decide the teams that are going to go play in the playoffs, in the big dance, and the teams that are headed for vacation in the golf course. And there are some surprise teams that are alive in week 15, and they are fighting to get in. Teams like the Detroit Lions, who have emerged the last 5 or 6 weeks as a very strong team and gaining strength and momentum as they go. They're going in to play another team that we are shocked in December that is very much alive for the playoffs, the New York Football Jets. And Miami will play a big-time game up in Buffalo where it's going to be a very white football game. There's no business like snow business, especially in Orchard Park, New York, where Saturday night's game is predicted to have whiteout conditions and a foot of snow. The Chargers are playing a game for their playoff lives. The New England Patriots are fighting. They had a big-time win last week, and they're going to play the Raiders, and they're holding on to the 7th seed in the AFC. And Sunday night, you have a showdown, an old-school backyard brawl in the NFC East as the New York Football Giants go into Washington to play the Redskins. And these two teams just tied 2 weeks ago. Here we go. The picks are in. Hey, game number 1. You got 3 games on Saturday. 3 pretty good ones. Game number 1, 1 o'clock. The Minnesota Vikings are minus 3.5. They'll play the Colts. The Colts don't have much left to play for, but they are playing for Saturday pretty hard. A team that has underachieved this year. Actually surprising the other way that the Colts are not in a playoff hunt. As we've expected them to have a strong season, they have not. A lot of it due to injuries. The quarterback just hasn't panned out over there. The Vikings are having a monster season. The Minnesota Vikings are coming off a loss to Detroit. I believe it's their 3rd loss of the season. The Vikings are in damn good shape, though. And I believe 11-3. The Minnesota Vikings are still fighting for the 1st seed in the NFC Conference behind the Eagles. They're in the mix with the Niners and the Cowboys. They're well ahead in their division. The Vikings are minus 3.5 against the Colts. You know, I never liked the half. So you take it down to 3. The Minnesota Vikings minus 3. The Vikings will win this football game. And I believe they will win this game going away. Give me the Minnesota Vikings in this game. 28-16. Vikings win. Game number 2 is a big one. Up to Buffalo, New York, where it'll be snowing and blowing, and it's going to be a white Christmas. 6 feet on the ground from a week and a half ago. Add another 12 to 13 inches. They're calling for a snowstorm during this game. They'll be blowing snow off the lakes in Buffalo. The Miami Dolphins are from a very warm climate. They're coming off 2 losses in a row where they spent 2.5 weeks on the West Coast. Miami's tired. Tua looks drained. They lost the game to the Chargers. Now they got to go fly across the country to Buffalo. The Bills lost a close game earlier this season by 1 point in the final second of the game. The clock ran out. The Dolphins stole a win in Miami. And the Buffalo Bills have been foaming the mouth ever since. And the Dolphins are walking into a winter wonderland. And I don't believe Tua has much experience in his life playing in the snow. Doesn't strike me as a Northeast frozen type of quarterback. You know what I mean? He likes it warm and cozy in Miami with the sunshine, right? Looks like a guy from Hawaii. Not Saturday night. The Buffalo Bills are -7. Vegas is telling you the Bills are going to get laid a smacking on Miami. You know what the Miz tells you? 7 points is a lot. The lock in this game is if you're a man that's not scared to lay it, lay it. The Buffalo Bills money line. The Buffalo Bills will win this game outright. Make no mistake about it. And they're home. And when the weather gets worse, the fans get going. And Buffalo loves that stuff. Give me the Bills in this game. And you know what? I'd even tell you, you know what? The Bills will cover. If you could buy 1.5 and make it 5.5, take the Bills -5.5. The Bills are going to win this game. Give me the Buffalo Bills. Give me the Buffalo Bills. 17-10. That's right. This will be a low-scoring game. The weather is going to leave its mark. Another win for the Bills as they hold on to the first seed in the AFC. And Saturday night, you will see why the AFC Conference does not want the playoffs in January going through Buffalo, New York. Game number 3. Sunday, 1 o'clock in the Meadowlands. The old Meadowlands, a stomping grounds, my hometown. The New York Jets have a monster game. They're coming off of 2 tough losses to Minnesota and Buffalo. They lost their quarterback, White, who was in there for 2 weeks. I told people a few weeks ago that they would go back to Wilson. Here we are. Don't matter how it happened, and don't be shocked. If the news that White is hurt and they had to put Wilson back in is to play games with the media and the fans, I believe the Jets need Wilson to be the guy for the future. He's too young to give up on. It would be a major dent on Douglas and his organization if they once again poo-pooed another drafted young quarterback, 2nd pick overall. Either way, Wilson's going to play this game. The Jets are going to be home. It's going to be loud. It's going to be obnoxious. And the Lions are hotter than fire. The Lions are playing great football right now. And they could put up a 30-31 spot. 33 any week. They have the offense. The defense is starting to play better. And they believe in that Coach Campbell. And the Lions, by next year, I believe, will be a really, really good team. Right now, the Lions are a good team. I'm big on Dew. The Lions have won, 6 out of 7? And they have a couple cupcakes coming up after the Jets. So the Lions are going to run this thing into the last week of the season in Green Bay and try to make a run at the 6th or 7th seed. They'll be mixing it up with Seattle, the Giants, and Washington. Seattle took a monster loss yesterday. They're starting to fall off. But in this case, I believe the Jets are the more desperate team. The Jets bring one of the top defenses in football. I believe Wilson has something to prove. He's going to come out and play a good football game. And when I say good, he's not going to be forced to throw for 300 yards. He's going to manage a good game. You know what? Put up 180, 200 yards, maybe throw a touchdown. The Jets are going to pound the rock. They're going to play a smart game. They're going to make the game easier on the kid, and they're going to rely on their defense. And I believe the Jets are going to pull this game out. The Jets are doing their season's on the line. Give me the Jets +1. You're getting +1. I'll take the Jets. The Jets win this game outright. You want to score? No problem. 24 to 20 Jets. Jets with a big win to keep their season healthy and alive. The next game is in Denver. Denver's -1.5 against Arizona. I threw this game on there because I liked it. It has no meaning to either team. But the Broncos are trying to get a couple of wins, salvage their season, and make it look all right. I like the Broncos here. I'll keep it simple and quick. The Denver Broncos are -1.5. Take the Denver Broncos. Don't even touch the -1.5. Just take Denver Broncos straight up to win this game on the money line. You want to score? Give me the Denver Broncos, 19-16. A big-time game for the New England Patriots as they make a stop in Las Vegas. Patriots coming off a smacking of Arizona in Arizona. Now they slide over the couple of miles over to Vegas to play the Raiders. The Raiders, to me, their season has ended, or pretty much is at the end. The Patriots are fighting for the 7th seed, and I believe the Patriots under Coach Belichick and quarterback Mac Jones will keep playing a smart, managing the football games, find their way to another win right here. The Patriots are plus 1.5. They'll hold on to the 7th seed. The Patriots will beat the Raiders. Give me the Patriots 27-20. New England Patriots win and head back to the Northeast. Monday night. I'll go to Monday night before we stop with the monster Sunday night Giants-Washington. Basically a playoff game. Monday night, the Packers are playing the Rams in Green Bay. The temperature's supposed to be in the single digits in Lambeau as an Arctic blast invades the country. The Green Bay Packers have won 3 in a row. They are not out of it yet. It's going to be a very hard task to get in. They'd have to run the table. But if anyone can do it, it's Rodgers. So you never lay a man like that to sleep. Green Bay has found a little chemistry here with Rodgers and their receivers. They're running the ball and they're playing better defense. It might have woken up too late in the season, but you're going to go with it. And I like the Green Bay Packers Monday night to win this game. The Packers are minus 6.5. That's a little much. The Rams show me a little something with Mayfield, but I'm not a believer. I believe the Rams are a cracked, broken foundation. And unfortunately, the Rams have spent all their draft picks the last few years and the few years coming up to win that Super Bowl last year. They got themselves a Super Bowl, so I can't criticize them. But they are looking at a long, long, long journey to get back to a winning team again. They ain't got much money, and they don't have any draft picks to speak of. Price you pay when you want to buy a ring, but can't knock it. They did win that ring. For this Monday night, it's a cold place for the Rams, and their season has nothing to be played for. Green Bay still has a little something. They're at home, and their fans will juice them up. The Packers are minus 6.5. I like the Packers. I'll take the Packers. 6.5, okay. Give me the Green Bay Packers in this game. I believe the Packers will beat the Rams pretty easily. 27-14 Green Bay. Hey. To Washington we go. The biggest game of the year for both these teams. An NFC East showdown. And for those of us to remember, the 80s, 1990, the Giants and Washington was a beast of a rivalry. And they're going to renew it. They're going to do a war in Washington on Sunday night in front of the nation at 8:20. The New York Football Giants are 7-5-1. The Washington Redskins are today's Commanders are 7-5-1, coming off a bye. The Washington's getting back Chase Young. The New York Giants getting a couple players back. Bredesen at guard. Leo Williams in the middle of their D-line to finally give them their starting front four. Barkley's healthier than he's been the last few weeks. The New York Giants have no excuses. These two teams tied at 22 weeks ago, and they're going to do it again right here on Sunday night. The winner will move into sole possession of the 6th seed in the NFC. The loser will be out of the playoffs for now and looking at a very hard road to get back in, as the Lions are playing good football. And Seattle's hanging around, even though they lost 2 in a row now. They're still involved. This game is a monster for the Giants, even more so than Washington. And the Giants haven't won a game in over a month. They've lost themselves between injuries, mistakes. They've taken a step backwards, or maybe 3. They're coming off a 48-22 beatdown by the hands of the Eagles. The Giants didn't even look like they belong. But I'm telling you right now, I expect a different Giants team to show up Sunday night. And I call out on two guys to put this game, this one game for the New York Giants on their back. Okay? Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. This game is yours. There's no excuses. There's no looking sideways, backwards, or forward. It's you and you. Number 8 and number 26 to put this game squarely on their two shoulders. Go out and have the game of the year, maybe the game of your lives. Execute, no mistakes, no turnovers. Move the chains. The Giants defense will give you what they can. And usually the Giants defense will keep the Giants in the game. Daniel Jones and Barkley got to go out and put this game on their shoulders. This is not just a game to take you to the playoffs. This is a game that sends a message to the organization, the GM and the owner, that we want to be here going forward for the future. This is a money game for Barkley and Jones. This is a contract game. You want to earn it? There's no if, and, or buts. Walk off this field with a W. And Barkley and Jones are the biggest keys to winning this game. The Giants deal come to play. Thibs is starting to get home on the sacks and the pressures. Azeez has added a power from the other side. Dexter and Leo in the middle. The secondary's still banged up. Adoree and McKinney not expected to go this week, but they're getting close. We'll have to roll it out with the young kids again. Rodarius Williams has to step up this week. Holmes has to step up. This game is for all the marbles for a wild card spot in the NFC East. I believe the winner of this game steps up big time into a playoff position. And the loser, you might as well pack your suitcase and go home. And this is more so for the Giants than Washington. And Washington could lose this game and still get into the 7th seed. If the Giants lose this game, they haven't won a game in 5 weeks. It's looking ugly. It's rolling the wrong way. And the Giants have some tough-ass game coming up. In Minnesota on Christmas. Home for the Colts, which they should win. At Philadelphia, you don't know what Philly team you're getting. Is it a Philly team that's going to play a quarter and rest their guys because they already sealed up the deal on the first seed? Or did the Cowboys beat the Eagles on Christmas and the Eagles have to fight their ass off to win that first seed and home field advantage throughout in the last game of the year, and the Giants will be up against it? The Giants need to take care of business this Sunday. The Giants are going into Washington plus 4.5. Washington is favored by 4.5. These two teams are pretty dead even, pretty dead equal. They play similar football. Washington might have a little better talent. The Giants are a younger team. But when you look at the two best players on the field, it's Barkley and Jones. I take Barkley and Jones over Washington's quarterback and Robinson at running back, who's a very talented running back. Yes, they are better than us in the receivers. But Daniel Jones is going to have to try to move this ball. Smart football, no turnovers. Go back to the game we were playing earlier this year. And the O-line should be a little more together this week. And we're hoping Bredesen is back. Going to be a cold, windy night in Washington Sunday night. This game has all the makings for Barkley to have an all-around game. And I'm going to predict that Barkley has one of the best games of the year. And I'm going to talk all-purpose yards, not necessarily only running. I think it's time Barkley explodes in the passing game. Put him in the slot. Send him out in the flat. Hit him with some screens through the middle. There are ways to use Barkley in different ways besides running him up the gut. Get creative. Move Barkley in motion out to the slot. Have Breeder in the backfield as a running back. And it's time to start sending Bellinger out on some routes. You can't just use him as a pure offensive lineman. Bellinger has to become a weapon down the field. Over the middle and posts. Get creative here, Dabble. I'm a big believer in the Giants this week. Yes, I'm a fan, but I don't always pick them. The New York Giants are plus 4.5. Forget the 4.5. The New York Football Giants are going to Washington, and the Giants are walking out of this game with a big-time win. The Giants are due for a win, and a lot of people sometimes believe that a bye is good for teams. I believe when you won 5 out of 6 like Washington, and you tied the Giants and went into your bye for 2 weeks, yeah, you got to sit and watch the Giants last week. Giants didn't show you much. They got blown out. They didn't show any of their plays in the second half smartly because I think that they knew the game was done, and they took Barkley out of the game. They knew Washington was sitting back watching. I don't think they showed you much. And I think the bye is going to hurt Washington's momentum. The New York Giants go to Washington where they always win, and they win another big game Sunday night on national TV where they are long due to win a primetime game. The New York Football Giants win this game. Give me the Giants. And give me the Giants. 23-17 New York Football Giants. This was week 15. Mrs. Picks. Check me out next week. We'll review this week's games.